All right, folks, once again, this is Foamster coming to you at the 2021 Southeast Slingshot Tournament in Steele, Alabama. I was gonna say California, by the way, okay? But we are here in Alabama, folks, and we are at the Horse Pen 40. Folks, I just wanna say straight out, I had a wonderful time. And again, it's true what they say about the community. Everybody is so nice and friendly. I tell people, they say, where you going? I'm saying, Alabama for Slingshot. All my friends laugh at me, folks. I said, yeah, that's right. I'm going to hang around with my hillbilly brothers and shit. I'm going to have a good old time, okay? Right. So that's right. I want to give credit, thank you to Mr. Kenneth Dykes for telling me about this. And again, that's another thing, folks. Get involved in the community and you'll be able to find out, like, you know, what's going on with the events and so forth. Another side reason is I come here because I'm meeting up with my nephew who I met online through the slingshot world. And honestly, I think me and him, the only two Vietnamese in the whole United States that shoot slingshot, folks. And he's a badass, folks. He's really good, and you know what? I'm hoping that, you know, the younger generation is just gonna come in and take on the sport because, wow, I mean, it's just not a stick, folks. I mean, that's what it looks like. Once you get into it, the whole world different open up. One of the biggest reasons why I came to this competition, okay, is because I wanted to meet the people that I learned from. And one of the person top on my list is Mr. Nathan Master, folks. And folks, you guys are so damn lucky today because we just happen to have Mr. Nathan Master. Hey, man. Nathan, I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Straight off, you already know. I mean, thank you for what you're doing for the community, for the industry. And I'm not talking about just about your frames, your product, folks. No question, quality. Don't even think about it. The education. I mean, you really focus on that, Nathan. Why is it so important, education?
All right, well, so I am really blessed to be able to run a business that sells fun, more or less.
Hell yeah.
And that's a huge responsibility. I mean, not everybody gets to do that. You know, some people make widgets. I get to make things for people, and when they go out and use it, it lifts them up, it brings them joy. That's great. If we only did that, we had a success, right? But when you see someone shoot a slingshot well, and you see what the human body can do, the skill that can be achieved, you want to do that, and you're not going to get there without good instruction. So if you think about like golf, everybody loves to go out and swing a golf club and just smack a golf ball around, but to be a Tiger Woods, it requires learning the foundations and ingraining them and knowing how to get from A to B with the least number of mistakes and not learning bad habits. So in order to help people have more fun, we feel like it's really important to give them a head start on understanding how the slingshot works. If you don't understand how the slingshot works, you're never going to get the most out of it. So just start from the ground up, take baby steps. And you know, everyone assumes because it's just a slingshot, it's really simple, and they can hit a can after the first few times, that's good enough. But you've seen it. I mean, your nephew.
Just walked by the way.
Yeah.
Mike just walked by.
Yeah, the dude shoots laser beams. But he didn't do so just on accident. No. He learned the foundations. And if there's nobody teaching the foundations, then we're not going to take our sport as far. And I can't imagine a better sport to bring people together than slingshots. You saw it this weekend.
Oh, man.
And so the more we can enjoy it, the more we're going to be together, the more we're going to spread the love, and the more fun everybody's going to have. And that's good for everyone.
You got it. You know what? You mentioned golf. I heard that slingshot is considered to be the poor man's sport. How did we get that reputation?
Doesn't matter, I don't care.
No, I mean, it's a good thing, by the way. Folks, I like it because you know what? When you talk about golf, yeah, everybody want to go golf, but can everybody afford golf? I can't.
Now, that's the beautiful thing about slingshots.
That's what I mean.
If you have a handful of rubber bands and a stick off of a tree, you can still experience slingshots.
And Nathan already have that video already,
yeah.
Folks. Just cutting off the branch and bam, just instant slingshot.
Yeah, slingshots are freedom. That's what they are.
Totally.
They're true freedom.
I want to ask you, what is your thought on this weekend? You said you had a good time, but I want to talk about events. I'm from California, the West Coast. Have you ever been out there to shoot any tournament?
No, there's
you go.
There's never been a if you do, I'll be there. You set it up, I'll come.
You get that, folks?
Scout
all right.
promise, however they do it.
Just Scout honor. That's
yeah,
right. By the way, I was a Boy Scout too. Okay, folks. So you know, I run deep.
But man, I mean, I'll circumvent you there.
Yes.
I think it's really important, people that love slingshots.
Yes, sir.
to get together with other people that love slingshots. It doesn't have to be a tournament. It doesn't have to be anything formal, but just get together and shoot. And it's contagious. When people see you doing it, they want to know, and it just draws people in like flies. And one thing, you know, I find it's really important, especially today, is people need something to take their mind off all the crazy in this world, and to just be present in the moment.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than shooting a slingshot, just being present in the moment. And maybe that's why me and you like it, because we got the ADD real bad.
Yeah. Not only that, Nathan. Nathan remind me of something that I noticed. His message, folks, is very transformational. It's you know what I'm talking about. It's very spiritual. It's almost like a Zen. Me, I'm you know, I follow the Taoism philosophy, and what I hear he talking about is like just being in the present. He kept talking about, the thing that I hear from him is being in the present, persistent. Keep on doing the same thing over. Isn't it you always say doing the same? You know how many people heard that? Do the same thing over again, and that's how you get better.
Yeah.
So you telling me that that you know that's how you got better, and it's not, it didn't come natural to you?
I don't know. You know,
because the story, the myth is that when you were born, Grandpa put the slingshot in your hand, and then
I did have a slingshot pretty
That's
early.
what I'm saying.
But you know, I've enjoyed all marksmanship disciplines. So if you enjoy shooting, you know, it starts getting to the point to where you have a relationship between your hands and your eyes and what's out in front of you. And slingshots are just really natural.
You got it. So get back to the event though. Again, let's just say that I would like to help to start an event in the West Coast, because I know all you folks want to come out to LA where it's nice and sunny, folks, by the beach. Okay. What do you recommend for a person like me that's you know, interested in doing something like that for the community to start off with?
Start small.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, start small. So if you've got a couple of people that enjoy shooting slingshots, say we're all going to meet together here at this place on a Sunday. Invite your friends. Make sure you have plenty of ammo in hand, plenty of slingshots. Get kids involved. Make it a family event. And make it short at first, you know, just come out and experience slingshots for 2 hours. If you're the type of person that enjoys showing people new things, you know, like makers fairs are a really great place to introduce slingshots. Because one, it's easy to DIY a slingshot, but two, I mean, you can teach a lot of physics principles by just understanding latex. And then people start to see that, yeah, this is more than just a toy. Then you see someone shoot it really well. You see how simple it can be, but how potent it can be. There's a juxtaposition there that kind of makes you do a second take every time. Like, damn, that was a slingshot?
Yeah.
And if you get more people seeing that, seeing what you love, sharing that joy, that passion, that fire that comes with it, like when you hit the can the first time, just how good it feels.
Yes.
And then doing it over and over again. Share that with people. Start slow, and the word will spread. Another great one is teach people how to make their own slingshots. Go get a bunch of tree forks. And I'll donate the latex.
Well, you see that, folks? Not only is he badass, but he's pretty damn generous. I'm gonna take on that because, folks, watching videos like yours and other videos, there's so many people that just so amazing artists. Like I mentioned, Mr. Kenneth. Folks, I got inspired to, you know, to start making my own frames. I spent my first year collecting a lot. That's normal, Nathan. I know you said that we only need 1 frames, but folks, I think everybody lie, okay? Because they all got more than 1 frames. Am I right?
I got like 300 or 400.
Yeah. So I'm okay. See, folks, don't talk bad about me having 200. Okay.
Oh no, that's normal. You're getting there.
Thank you, Nathan.
That's like you're still like junior varsity.
Everybody else, that's okay. But Nathan, you know, everybody collects certain things. I love all the custom. By the way, side note, Nathan, is there a list that me and other people we can put on that, you know, like when you feel like you know, like letting go one of your custom? I'm talking about the flipping out one. Those are beautiful pieces that man, folks, that I only dream about. But what's the best way for some collector like us to be able to get even close to having one of your pieces?
Man, so here's something.
I'm asking all the good questions, folks.
This is a good question. I'm sure people want to know this, and this is my truth. It's making slingshots by hand.
Yes, sir.
To someone's specification took the joy out of it for me.
Okay.
It really did. If I can just go into my shop and be inspired to create something, and not know how it's going to finish up, and I can do that all day long. But when it got to the point where people were like, you know, I want this certain specification and I want you to redo one that you've done before, there's no passion, no joy in that. My time is better served teaching people how to shoot slingshots than making slingshots.
Man, see, folks, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, it's tough.
One, you want the goddamn custom slingshot from, and would you still call it a flipping out? By the way, I love that name. That's why it pops up in my mind. So, Nathan, I want to ask you again, going back to the event. Start small. I just want to let you know, me and my brother Tom in the West Coast, we are the only two that has been meeting once a month on a Sunday to go out to the park and shoot.
Good.
Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get something started. Have not only Nathan out there, but also have Simple Shot out there, like you know, as a sponsor, folks. People, I know a lot of people like Mike. I know my nephew. He's straight out. He said that I'm here to compete, and he drove 9 hours straight.
Yep.
I took my time. It took me 2 weeks to fly here. I stopped in Austin, hanging out, everything. So, for me, it's just total enjoyment. Competition now. How does this versus the one in China that you went to?
Oh,
come on,
not-
Nathan.
not
That's what
even
everybody want to
comparison,
know.
Not even a comparison. So I roll up in China. That tournament was the Chinese national tournament. So it's estimated they got 300,000 to 400,000 league shooters in all of China. I mean, it's big. So this was the 500 people from all over China that came to compete for the national title. And they let a handful of international folks come. So I roll up in there, and I've done pretty well here in the U.S. I can shoot all right. And I was ranked 9th in the world at the World Cup a couple of years ago in Italy. So I step in there thinking, I can do all right. I can do good. And I think I was 422 out of 500. 422 out of, but I have never seen such good shooting. The final shoot-off between first and second place, those guys went head-to-head for 3 rounds at 15 meters without missing before one of them missed.
3 rounds before one of them missed.
Before one of them missed.
15 meters?
15 meters.
Okay.
It was, and you know, you could have heard a pin drop, and it was a stadium, not a stadium, but
Yeah.
so the pressure, and that's where those boys, they shine. They can't be beat because they train to win. And you know, a lot of us folks here, we just shoot slingshots. It makes us smile. There's clubs all over China. They're always shooting.
Okay. So that's something that we can look as an example to create here.
Yeah, you just got to get folks.
Okay.
We got to get folks understanding that slingshots aren't toys. At the same time, I'm okay with them being toys.
Got it.
Because we don't really want to see our slingshots regulated.
No.
And that's another one.
Please.
When you're getting folks together, there's a cultural phenomenon going on in the U.S. where slingshots are associated with miscreants and trouble.
Sir. Yep.
Let's do all we can to get away from that.
That is happening.
Well, it's embedded in our culture. Think about
The
it.
Dennis Menace
Bart Simpson.
mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, you know, the tool of a troublemaker.
Got it.
If we start changing it around and look at it as a tool for marksmanship,
Yes.
that's one thing. You could also use it as a tool for like learning more about yourself. Because if you got your head together and you're calm, you're probably going to shoot better. And you can use that as a gauge to be like, am I spinning out today, or am I here and ready to be present? It seems like when you start telling someone about a slingshot, like you see something click in their head and they're like, oh, I remember shooting a slingshot. And they go back to that memory. And more often than not, try this. More often than not, when they go back to that memory, you'll see their eyes move and they'll think about it, then a smile will come across their face. Because most of your memories with the slingshot were of either something fun or where you got in trouble.
But you still remember.
And you still
but
remember.
you still remember because folks, I only remember the bad experience. That's because those are exciting ones. Have you ever met any of the people that actually posed the question? Like, you ever met them live before? You know, I mean,
maybe. You know, a lot of times folks will just leave their first name.
Would you remember if I asked you the question that you answer for me?
Maybe.
I know you will remember because this is the only one question that has this topic. What was the history of the slingshot? Why was the Russian given credit for it in Wikipedia? That's me, by the way.
Okay, that's you. That one we didn't answer that one really.
You did.
I mean, but not thoroughly.
No, that's why I'm here.
Because that's a bunch right there.
I know. You did say it.
And that's something that I'd love to take it on as a project. But anybody else, take this challenge on. If we're gonna grow our sport, we got to know where it came from.
The history is so important.
So important.
That's why I asked the question.
And then there's also, you know, a lot of folks write their history through the lens that serves their narrative best.
Yeah.
Let's do it, you know, like, what's the real story? Like, slingshots, as we know them, didn't happen until we had vulcanized rubber.
automatically, Nathan, I don't know why, maybe because all the popularity in China, folks, I automatically thought my Asian brother and sister came up with a slingshot back in the dynasty day.
Yeah.
But then when I heard that it didn't happen until vulcanized.
But you know, I've heard that in
Yes.
Guatemala they were using latex sap that wasn't vulcanized, but
how long is that?
How much stretched? How
Right,
well
right,
did it really
right,
work?
right.
So I would love to know the real history of it. And
Well.
so if there's any scholars out there or people coming up through the university systems that are looking for something interesting, I don't think there's been a well-documented real history done of the slingshot, the modern slingshot.
But I have not seen any video about the history of slingshot, or
Yeah.
else I would be definitely on it.
You know, there's bits and pieces here and there, but we need a tip to tell.
I collect antique vintage. I just love those, you know, especially American. And of course, just happened that time, Mr. Gary Flat Band Mueller was selling off a lot of his thing.
He had a good collection.
Well, I'm the guy that, you know, that snatch up a lot of collections, so I had a chance to build this relationship, or, you know, got a chance to know him, and I was hoping to meet him at the event, and of course, hopefully I still get to meet him one day. I'm nostalgic, so I like the vintage, and when I think about the vintage, I automatically think about some of the people I remember as a kid, like Rufus Hussey, right?
Yep.
I remember vaguely seeing him on the Johnny Carson show. That just inspires me.
Yeah.
You know, there's and of course I know watching the videos that you know Blue Scheme.
Oh, he was a good friend of mine.
How would those two gentlemen fit into the history of the slingshot? Do you understand?
Oh, I do understand.
There
the
you
question.
go, sir. Yes.
I wish Blue was here to tell this story, but I'll do my best
You will.
to be his proxy. But no doubt Rufus Hussey was an amazing instinctive shooter, and he did it with stones.
Yes.
That's something else, you know, with heavy gum rubber bands, with tree forks. And Blue and Rufus were contemporaries. I think Rufus might have been a touch older than Blue.
Yeah.
But so Blue came into the sport. He was a hunter, and that's probably what Rufus was too. You hear the stories that Rufus, you know, shot rabbits as a kid, like every other. But Blue came into it later in his life as a hunter. He was really big into trapping.
Okay.
So he was carrying a slingshot instead of, you know, a pistol just to finish game off. And he loved to hunt. So he started as a hunter and then discovered later slingshot tournaments. And Blue was one thing that helps with slingshot shooting is a strong upper body, a strong, solid upper body gives a more. Blue was a big, stout man, so he's able to pull heavy bands, and so he's a successful hunter. And then when he transitioned over to target shooting, he's the type of person like most slingshot people. He got really fired up about it and into it, and he started competing. So the difference between Blue and Rufus is that Rufus shot to put meat on the table, and Blue shot to put meat on the table, but really got into the target shooting aspect of it. And Blue even went so far as to say he went down and saw Rufus, because they didn't live too far away from one another. Blue was in Virginia, Rufus in North Carolina. And Rufus wouldn't shoot with Blue.
Yeah. Real? What? What? I thought they were buddies.
They were buddies enough, but they wouldn't.
Oh, that's just
because
like
Blue was terribly competitive.
Oh.
His whole thing was like, oh, I'm a pretty good shooter. And he'd throw, you know, a 3/8 ball out on the ground and be like, that's my target. You know.
I love that. Oh,
and it was that
by
sort
the
of
way,
thing,
you got a good accent going on there,
well,
Nathan.
Yeah.
Okay, so the history. Now, there is this one other gentleman that wrote a book that you interview at
Jack
one
Kohler.
of the. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have both of the books, folks, and I got one actually from Mr. Flatband, signed from the author himself. How do you include him in the history?
Oh, so Jack was really instrumental, and he passed away recently. We lost him about a year ago. Okay. But Jack was instrumental in the early days of the National Slingshot Association. There was a governing body in the U.S. Started in the early 70s, I believe, and kind of petered out in the early 80s. And we've got all the journals somewhere on one of our sites that you can read what folks do.
Yes, I did read that. Yeah. Yes, folks, it's so good information.
But right? Jack really kind of pioneered, in my opinion, the use of sighting systems with slingshots. And he was also a really competitive billiards player. So he understood, and he was a good writer. He was the first person to ever put it into a book form.
Yes.
And you know, before the internet, we bought books. And Jack's the guy that did it. And he was well-spoken. He took the time to really understand the physics of the sport and communicate it in a way that was meaningful to being successful with a slingshot.
Yes.
And nobody had ever done that before. Because, you know, in the U.S., people it's a toy of a miscreant, a toy.
Yeah, it's a still toy.
And he was the guy that said, no, it can be more than that.
Right.
If you got the bug for slingshots, you're going to dig into it.
Automatically. I am. I'm reading up all the information and watching all the different videos and stuff, all the interviews that you did. I love those videos, man, by the way. It's so important.
Well, we're rewriting history every day, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
I mean, if you just think about it in the short history, 10 years ago, anybody that could hit a 12-ounce soda can 10 out of 10 times at 10 meters was top of the heap. Top of the heap.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, just about anybody here could probably do that.
Yeah, now you got to shoot this, folks.
You really do.
Okay.
It's just about that. It's just about there. So we're rewriting history daily, just because I think prior, you know, in Blue's time, I've seen Blue make amazing shots.
Yeah.
And he held the world record for the most consecutive hits, unofficial world record for the most consecutive hits, and I think it was about a 4-inch disc.
Yeah.
That's a huge target now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he hit it like 230 times without missing.
Wow.
But you know,
only 230 times, folks. Okay.
Somewhere in there. It was a bunch. But today, you've got shooters that are doing that on a 4-centimeter disc.
Got it.
And, you know, knocking down 20 and 30 hits. So the level of skill, the level of play is just continually increasing. And if, you know, we're always chasing better. So I want to see that bar keep getting put higher and higher and higher.
I always remember the people that came before us. Tell me about, aside from yourself, of course, you now, I look at you like the uncle of the sport. Did you know what I mean? Yeah, somebody I know that I can go and ask questions about that knows. What's going on with the, you know, did you say the younger, the next generation, you know, that people that is here? Who's some of the people that is that you see out there that's helping to push the sport, you know, like, you know, that people can follow and, you know.
Well, definitely your nephew as far as his shooting talent.
Right.
Dan Ambrosius, the host of this tournament.
Yep.
Dan
Thank
is
you, Dan.
Fantastic shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Miley. Mike's been around for a long time. He is an incredibly good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Moan Waller.
Mm-hmm.
His enthusiasm for the sport is infectious.
Yeah.
So just follow him, because if anybody points somebody to slingshots and sees it, you're going to turn out like Moan. You're like, hell yeah, I want to be that guy.
Mr. Ray, you always talk about Ray all the time.
Oh, my boy.
What's his name? Well, I can't do.
Ray Bazonsky.
How do you say?
Ray Bazonsky.
Bazonsky.
Bazonsky, yep.
You always.
Ray shot.
You always mention about him, about that 17 caliber. You said, right? Isn't it 17?
Yes, that's how you got started being so.
Yeah,
so
and
good.
so I want to ask you something. How do you expect us that we barely holding on to our 8mm? My nephew's shooting at 6mm.
Yep.
And this is how many? It's even smaller.
Oh yeah.
What you trying
4.5 millimeter. But the big thing is it teaches you
Yes.
the feel of the proper mechanics. Because here's a challenge. You know, I say it over and over again. I'll say it again.
Please say it to us.
Yeah. Just like if you're gonna get into slingshots, the power can come later. You don't have to destroy your target out of the gate. It will come. It doesn't matter how fast you missed your target. You still missed. So with BBs, what that allows you to do, you got very low resistance. With higher resistance, you can't really feel, because you're pressing so hard to hang on to it. You don't have a sense of what a clean pouch release feels like. By shooting BBs, you can have a very nuanced touch, a very light touch. And if you can start shooting consistently with BBs, that means you're having a very consistent release. Then start building up. And that's what Ray did. And Ray did it, I think, out of economy. But he had a top of a paint can lid, you know, stapled to a tree out in his yard, and he peppered that things with BBs. And it just naturally progressed when he stepped up to larger ammo, larger bands. He had good technique, he had good form.
Okay.
And then the other thing is his ability to calm his nerves when it counts. We call him the Iceman.
Does he have ADD too?
Don't we all?
I think so. I think so. I know. I'm proud now. When I was younger, I was embarrassed to have ADD, but now being ADD, it actually it's creative. It's part of being creative.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing about Ray, by the way. Nathan, once again, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to actually maybe in the future be able to interview you online.
Sure, man.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for your enthusiasm and for doing what you do here, sharing it with the world. this is what it's going to take to share our beloved toys.
Yeah, you give me goosebumps. So that means that I'm gonna now kiss ass to be on the list for that one of the original frame. All right, my friend. Have a you driving?
I'm on my motorcycle.
God dang! Not only he shoots slingshot, he gonna be shooting slingshot on the motorcycle, folks. Yeah. That's badass. All right. Anyway, you know what? Have a safe trip home, and
Thanks,
look forward to meeting you and so meeting you again.
Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. On that note, have a wonderful day, and make sure you subscribe and share this channel. All right. Thanks again, and peace out.